of Economics as the moderator of the session. Next, I extend my hearty welcome to the speakers of the session, Dr. Jijikumari T, St. Pius X College, Rajapuram, presenting the paper Family Economics and Analysis with the emphasis on sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining and the household production function. Then I invite Jyothilakshmi MA, MG University, presenting the paper Self-Help Groups and Women Empowerment. Next, Sanitha Sadanandan, Kannur University, presenting the paper Non-Communicable Disease Burden Among Women in India, Evidence from Global Burden of Disease Study. Then I would like to welcome Marla Elizabeth Philip, first MA student, Department of Economics, for delivering the vote of thanks. Now I welcome each and everyone present on this webinar. Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. Today is the final day of our 3-day international webinar on women and development. Women and development is a topic of discussion for the past few decades. Women constituting half of the world population, but yet they lag behind men in majority of the socio-economic aspects. But for the progress of any nation, progress and welfare of women citizens is very much relevant. Whether it is in education, health, employment, and property rights, etc., women should have equal achievements and entitlements to men. Here comes the significance of our topic, women and development. Now, in the 11th session of this enlightening webinar, we will be having 3 paper presentations, which will cover 3 different aspects regarding our topic and discussion. Topic of discussion. The first paper in this session will be presented by Dr. Jijikumari T, Assistant Professor and HOD of Department of Development Economics, St. Pius College, Rajapuram. She will be presenting paper on the topic Family Economics, an analysis with emphasis on sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining, and household production function, which is a topic which gained relevance in the present period, and she will make familiar these topics to us. And the second paper is on the topic Self-Help Groups and Women Empowerment. It will be presented by Jyothilakshmi MA, a research scholar from MG University. And the last paper in this session by Sanitha Sadanandan, research scholar, Kannur University, and her topic is non-communicable disease burden among women in India, evidence from global burden of disease study. And now we will come to the paper presentation section, and each of the presenter will be given 20 minutes for presenting their paper, and discussions will be there at the end of all these paper presentations. Questions can be raised at the end of the session. And now I am opening the floor for presentation. The first presentation by Dr. Jijikumari T. Welcome, Dr. Jijikumari. You can present your paper.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. Then, host, please allow me to share my screen. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy here to be present one paper on family economics, and I'm expressing my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this program to give me an opportunity to present this paper. Actually, this is not my area of research. Only for presenting this international webinar, I prepared this paper. Therefore, it has a lot of limitations. Then I'm just focusing on the student community because this term, family economics, then sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining, all these are something new to the student community. And nowadays we are discussing that topic just on the time of this COVID-19. We are discussing regarding the division of labor in the household and the shadow pandemic, all these things. Okay, then we can start our topic. Family economics, an analysis with the emphasis on sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining, and the household production function. Then first of all, family economics. That is, in family economics, we are explaining different topics such as production, domestic production, fertility, decision to have children, dowry payment, polygamy. All these are different topics that we are come across with the family. And all these are part and parcel of family economics also. Then family economics can be defined as a separate branch of economics, which applies the subject matters of economics such as production, consumption, distribution, division of labor, decision making. And all these aspects are coming under the category of family economics. Then all of you know the families are the means where children are supplied the necessities, just like food, shelter, clothing, recreation, medical facilities, or medicines, all these things. Then while analyzing the topics in detail, we have to first of all understand what is the meaning of, what are the functions of a family. That is, acting as a economic unit is the most important function, acting as an economic unit. And most cases, parents are the sole breadwinners and they bring money to the family to satisfy different wants. And another important function of family is the procreation and economic security. Procreation is one of the important duty, that is family acting as a unit of procreation through reproduction of population for the survival of the society and ensure the continuation of human beings. All of you know, through this family setup, there is a possibility of the supply of labor in the future we can ensure. Then family satisfies sex needs within the marriage without the social discrimination. Family holds the properties and ownership like farm, shops, dwelling are handed down to the children. So all these things are the main functions of family. Then suppose if you're analyzing the history of economic thought, we can see the term family didn't get this clear emphasizing during our classical economic thought, even though Adam Smith made a discussion on it. Adam Smith, our father of our economics, he made a discussion on family economics in his moral sentiments, but not at all discussed further. Then economists like T.R. Malthus, Engels, and Marx try to explain the structure of family through feminist economics. Then early economists were mostly interested in the discussion of individual contribution to social production and labor theory of value. Production within the home or within the household was not a subject of discussion. Then for the present study, I have only one objective, that is to describe the concept of family economics with the help of the sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining, and household production function. That is, I told, that is only one objective I have, that is about make an analysis or make a description regarding the family economics through these topics such as sexual division of labor, then intra-household bargaining, and household production function. And for the present study, I just used some books and journals for getting the topics or getting the knowledge relating to these topics. That is my the objectives of sexual division of labor, household production function, as well as intra-household bargaining. Then, first of all, I would like to explain what is sexual division of labor. This is very, very common in our household, in our home, we are visible this thing. That is a sexual division of labor is the agreement of different household duties between men and women. A term referring to the specialized gender roles of male breadwinner and female housewife. That is, our society is giving a gender duty or gender role to us. That is a major in the case of male are the breadwinner and female are the housewife. That is the division, sexual division of labor is actually happened in the present day society, or the gender role that we have. Then the idea of division of labor is very much visible in family economics. Although we can make a clear-cut allocation of time between paid work, domestic work, and leisure. Domestic division of labor is a part and parcel of the idea of new economics by Gary Becker. Gary Becker is one of the most important economists, who Nobel Prize winner also, and he contributed a lot in the case of family economics. Then according to him, unpaid time in the home yields valuable home production combined with the goods purchased from the market. Then home production includes meals and household repairs along with the maintenance of next generation. That I told earlier, that is it is a home for the production of reproduction, or it is that we are producing, or next generation is coming up in the family. Then parental time is the basic input required for children. Moreover, time can also properly allocate to improve the quality of children. Here, in the family economics, the term parent is normally mother. Childbearing and other domestic tasks are handling by mother in two-parent family, And fathers spend more time outside work to generate income. Whereas in one parent family, we can see mother along doing all the parenting as well as income generation. That is actually happening, or this is the term parent. Parent actually means the mother. In the case of family economics, we are giving more concentration to mother. By nature itself, partly to biology, home production to be basically a mother's business than fathers, such as mother's ability to breastfeed. Such a biological difference is reinforced by the scope of specialization and trade between partners. But the market pays high rates to men than women. That is, women are doing a lot of these kinds of household activities or household business, but even then, the society is not ready to accept that, hard work. Then next topic is, or next concept in my topic is intra-household bargaining. That is intra-household bargaining. That is a bargaining between different family members or husband and wife or male and female. That is most often intra-household bargaining is the negotiations that occur between family members related to the need of the spending, saving, studying, and working. That is, every time there is a bargaining is going on between regarding this spending activity or how to save or what proportion of income that we have to spend for studying and what proportion for working. All these kinds of bargainings are going on in everyday family. Then bargaining involves purchase or contract, and it also involves direct exchange of money. The process of bargaining within the family members is an important aspect of family economics. Then all of you know bargaining is the mutual understanding or consensus relating to purchasing something. Okay. Then bargaining within the family is one of the most ingredient of family economics. It plays an important role in the decision making of households, and it may not involve any money transaction. But all of you know, in family we are discussing about our consumption pattern or our health pattern, our education or our saving pattern, everything. There is only discussion is going on, or there is only bargaining is going on. There is no exchange of money at all, but it affects the whole family members. The decision by the both male and female or the parents, that will affect the whole family members. Then in the household bargaining, our common experience that most often there may be an unequal bargaining between husband and wife, and will be the husband in the decision making of household activities. And finally, in almost all families, or most often we can see in the families bargaining, we can see the male is dominant or male is dominating or male can able to take decision. Finally, the success is on the part of male or husband. It may be because ladies are facing more threats point or fallback positions in family. That is in family also, the ladies are facing lot of threats and lot of fallback position. And that is why most often the bargaining, the success is ultimate to males. Then generally, this in the case of household bargaining, we can divide into two categories like cooperative bargaining and non-cooperative bargaining. The cooperative bargaining, we can see all persons have equal importance, or all persons have make their own points or their own arguments, and finally they are in consensus, and finally they make one decision. And in that case, the family members, all family members will be benefit. But on the other hand, the non-cooperative bargaining is concerned, some personal interest to motivate the individual within the family rather than a collaborative work. It may be in the form of unitary decision making. Then finally, the decision will be taken by the male or the theory of household production function has been used to explain the rise in married female labor force participation during 20th century. At present, all the raw materials needed for the prepare one commodity is available in the market. And if laborers, especially female laborers, are ready to prepare that commodity from the home itself by combining all these ingredients by themselves. For example, suppose if you want to make one cake, we are purchasing all the raw materials needed for cake, and by using our know-how, we can prepare delicious cake instead of purchasing from the market. That's coming under the category of production, household production function. Then in most of the household production function, an important concern is that how households are allocating their labor time and income for an activity that may some way affect environmental quality also. Therefore, a household combines its labor with an environmental quality and other goods to produce a commodity for getting household utility, and that changes in environmental quality will affect the welfare of the household and their value these changes also. That is, whatever may be the home production or the household production activity, the ladies, I think the ladies in the home, they are giving importance to the environmental quality also, because suppose if we are simply thrown out our waste simply nearby our house, nearby our home, definitely definitely that will damage the total health condition of our family members. So we will also make importance to the environmental quality also. So I think by using this kinds of sexual division of labor or the intra-household bargaining and the household production function, so many research gaps are there. And I already told, just for this presentation purpose, I prepared this topic, and I never made a detailed study on the what is actually happening in this kinds of division of labor in home and like that. Then definitely I think there is a lot of scope for the research area in this case, and we can study in detail regarding this sexual division of labor, then household intra-household bargaining, and how can we apply the game theory in this in the rotten kid theorem of Gary Becker. All these things we can consider. And definitely suppose if we are calculating the activities that is carried out by ladies in home in the production activity or production manner, or it is a marketable value manner, definitely we can improve the social condition of the women, and we can contribute a lot. That is, the ladies can contribute a lot to the development of the community or development of the economy. So through that way we can include the women in development or process we can combine. And this is the topic, and thank you for my
Sorry, there was a network issue. Thank you, ma'am. It was a very informative session. You introduced that to the new concept of family economics, and we will have discussions later. Now we will go to the next presentation by Jyothilakshmi MA, a research scholar from MG University. I welcome Jyothilakshmi for her presentation.
Then my presentation topic is non-communicable disease burden among women in India, evidence from global burden of disease study. As we know, good health and well-being are significant dimensions to ensure the quality of life and to attain human development. The state of one's health is multifaceted, and it is measured using a variety of indicators such as morbidity, life expectancy, mortality, nutritional status, etc. Then health outcome, either in the form of good health or ill health, determine the survival of an individual. Then the whole world has experienced significant transitions in the global health arena over the last mortality and increase in life expectancy, the proportion of elderly people in the population, and substantial shift from infectious to chronic diseases. Then NCDs are one of the foremost challenges confronted by all the countries, especially among developing countries in this 21st century. Then there has been a transition in global health outlines, such as the shift of disease burden and death from communicable and maternal diseases to non-communicable diseases, that is both in high and low income countries. Then the epidemiological burden of chronic disease and associated risk factors are rising over the world as per the study by Abgude and Stancoil. Then these transitions have afflicted people all around the world, particularly women. Then women's health issues and challenges have altered tremendously over the world in the last few decades. Then NCDs kill 41 million people each year. That is equivalent to 71% of all deaths globally. Then each year, more than 15 million people die from NCDs. Years. That is, there is 85% of premature death. That is of low and middle income. And 77% of all deaths in low and income. And among the chronic disease or NCDs, cardiovascular diseases, then also cancers and respiratory diseases and diabetes. That network issues there. Is it?
You can continue.
Okay. Then there is globally NCDs, that is 41 million people killed by these NCDs. Then also major NCDs are cardiovascular diseases, then also followed by cancers, respiratory diseases, and also diabetes. Then these four groups of disease account for over 80% of all premature NCD deaths. Then Risk factors for these NCDs are tobacco consumption, physical inactivity, then harmful use of alcohol and unhealthy diets that also increase the risk of NCD. Then, as we know, health is a key driver in the SDGs, and reduction of health inequalities and non-communicable disease should become key in the promotion of the overall sustainable development goal. Then a sustained reduction of general inequalities in income, education, and gender within and between countries would enhance worldwide equality in health. Then gender is a key determinant of NCD prevalence and plays a major role in illness reporting in developing countries. Then there is a clear disparity in the prevalence of self-reported ailments between men and women across countries as per the literature. Then relative to men, women are more susceptible to the risk of many NCDs like obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory problems, etc. Then, as we know, women who are healthy, educated, and empowered are ideally equipped to multiple roles they play as mothers, caretakers, workers, volunteers, and leaders, all of which have an impact on society and contribute to the long-term development. Then, as the agent of healthy lifestyle and principal caretaker in the families, women play a vital role in the communities to attain health and well-being. That is, investing in health of women is thus a crucial policy mechanism for development. NCDs NCDs have an impact on one's health and development throughout the lifespan, causing morbidity and mortality as well as jeopardizing their socio-economic position. That is, suppose people with the NCDs are the principal income earner or raising the children, then disease or disability that will lead to that is mortality, then also that lead to loss their personal and household income. Then death and disability from NCDs in the most productive age can lead to high economic burden in terms of that is catastrophic health expenditure, then ultimately lead to deprivation and also poverty upon the household. Therefore, the growing burden of NCDs, particularly among women, act as a major obstacle to development, mainly to achieve the ongoing agenda of sustainable development. Then coexistence with the reproductive health, nutrition, and infections, as well as the growing rise of non-communicable disease has increased. Kidney problems, respiratory problems, trauma care are the top causes of death for women worldwide in both countries. And it is the largest to health around the world. There is around 35 million deaths result from NCDs each year. That is, among these, 18 the most productive years. That is among now my internet connection is unstable. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Hello.
Continue.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, that is NCDs pose the largest threat to the health around the world. That is among the major NCDs, cardiovascular disease, that is the #1 killer of women in the world. And that is CVD, that is cardiovascular disease, causes 8.6 million deaths among the women annually. That is 1 per 3 of all deaths in women worldwide. Then another major NCDs, that is the cancer, that is 48 million annual deaths in women from cancer globally. Then also breast cancer is the most common cancer in women. It is also most frequent killer, followed by lung and colorectal cancer. Then another major NCDs that affected women, that is the diabetes. That is the total number of people living with diabetes is 415 million. That is 3 out of 4 are living in low and middle income countries. That is globally 84% of all people who are undiagnosed with diabetes live in low and middle income countries. Then also another major NCDs, that is the chronic respiratory diseases. That is over 1/3 of premature death that is from chronic respiratory diseases. Then also that is mainly in low and middle income countries, this is due to exposure to household air pollution. Then another problem that is gestational diabetes, that is during the pregnancy period, that which affect 1 in 7 pregnancies globally, puts both the women and their babies at increased risk of ultimately developing type 2 diabetes. Then another important issue, that is mental health issues, that is depression, that is the leading cause of disease burden for women in low and middle income countries. Thus, women in low and middle income countries generally bear a triple burden of disease, that is due to reproductive health issues and maternal issues, and also infectious disease, and most importantly, chronic and non-communicable diseases. Then also, as per the recent data from Global Burden of Disease, the share of CMND, that is communicable maternal, neonatal, and nutritional disease to total death among Indian women has decreased from 60% in 1919 to 28% in 2009, while the share of NCDs that has increased from 32 to 64%. To achieve the targets of Sustainable Development Goals, it is necessary to prevent NCDs as to reduce 1/3 of premature NCD death by 2030. That is the major agenda of SDG goal, and attain gender equality as the major goal of this sustainable development. And has attempt to focus the current Swiss gap in the reported non-communicable disease among women in India. This study tries to analyze the burden of NCDs and related risk factors among women in India. Then next move on to data and also methods. Study has employed the data extracted from Global Burden of Disease study that is in various periods. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Your screen wasn't changing.
Okay, is there any problem?
Now it's okay.
Okay. Okay. So the burden of the burden of NCDs at the state level, specific disease level, as well as factors have and also disability years. DALY has been analyzed from the Global Burden of Disease study. Then to analyze the prevalence of NCDs, their associated risk factors and SDG data. Data is gathered from various secondary sources, that is like World Health Organization, then World Economic Forum, NITI Aayog, ICMR, Government of India reports, etc. Then about the Global Burden of Disease study, that is the most comprehensive worldwide observational epidemiological study to date that is prepared by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation. Then it offers a powerful resource to understand the changing health challenges facing people across the world. Then examining trends from 1990 to the present, that is to 2019, the latest Global Burden Disease study include data on mortality and morbidity in 204 countries and territories, and also 369 disease and injuries and 87 risk factors. Then also the study estimates incidence, prevalence, mortality, then years of life lost, years lived with disability, and disability adjusted life years due to these diseases and also injuries. Then the disease burden in India, that is in terms of disability adjusted life years, DALY, and also in terms of death. Then it is evident from the given data that there is a transition in disease burden from communicable to non-communicable disease among both the male and females. Then the share of communicable maternal, neonatal, and nutritional disease to disease burden among Indian women has decreased from 65% in 1990 to 32% in 2019, while the share of NCDs, that is non-communicable disease, that is increased to 28% in 1990 to 59% in 2019. Then the same change is evident in the case of death also. Then this table that shows the NCD burden among various states in India, that is during 2019. Then there is a wide interstate disparity in the occurrence of illness burden among the state Then in India, health status differs extensively across various states as well as across gender within the state. Then the state-wise analysis of this NCD burden in India indicates that the rate of NCD burden in terms of DALY and death is very high in the states of Kerala, then also Goa, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh. Then it is also observed that NCDs are less prevalent in northeastern states. That is the NCD burden is low among the lower income states, that is like Bihar, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, etc. Then it is also evident that NCD burden is comparatively high among women than men in almost all states in India. Then the table that shows major types of NCDs among women in India. That is, among the major NCDs, major types of NCDs, cardiovascular diseases, that is CVDs are much higher among women. That is 12% of DALY and also 26% of death in India. Then besides CVD, chronic respiratory diseases, then cancer is also highly prevalent among the women. Then ailments such as diabetes and also kidney problems, chronic kidney diseases are also prevalent among the women. And also other NCDs, that is other NCDs like thyroid, then gastric problems, then urinary problems are also seen among women in India. Then this shows the age-wise analysis of NCD burden among women. Then across the age group, those women aged 50 and above are more likely to become at the risk of NCDs in India. Then in this age group, reported NCD rate was 78% of DALY and 77% of death, those aged 50 to 69 category, and 75 and 73 respectively in those aged 70 and above. Then we can, it is evident that is NCD burden was also high among productive age group. That is the NCD burden as a percentage of DALY and that was 63 and 49% respectively among those aged 15 and 49. Then also NCD burden was comparatively lower among children, that is less than 15 years. Then at the same time, NCDs were reported, that is 37% of DALY among the 5 to 14 years of age. That indicates that that is adolescent girls are also prone to the high risk of NCDs. Then next move on to risk factors and also non-communicable disease.
Sanitha,
Hello. Yes.
Try to finish it in 5 minutes.
Okay. 1 minute. Then risk factors, that is there are two types of risk factors, modifiable risk factors and also non-modifiable. Then modifiable behaviors, that is like tobacco use, physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, harmful use of alcohol, that is all increase the risk of NCDs. Then also there is non-modifiable risk factors which include age, sex, and family history. Then also there are metabolic risk factors or intermediate risk factors like hypertension, impaired blood glucose level, overweight, obesity, etc. That is the final outcome of these risk factors. That is the NCDs like cardiovascular disease, that is heart diseases, and also stroke, diabetes, cancers, then chronic respiratory diseases, etc. Then growth of these NCDs mainly due to these risk factors like physical inactivity, then use of tobacco, dietary habits, and also high body mass index, then alcohol consumption, etc. Then the figure shows that is in India, the all risk factors are increasing, especially in the case of females. Then also the different major types of risk factors, that is metabolic risk, that is GBD study shows there are 3 major types of risk, that is level 1 risk, that is metabolic risk, and also environmental or occupational risk and behavioral risk. Then among these major risks, this metabolic risk that constitutes the largest share of NCDs. Then also among the metabolic risk, high systolic pressure that constitute the disease burden, that is in terms of DALY among the women. Then also in terms of death, also metabolic risk such as high plasma glucose, then also LDL cholesterol, and also high systolic blood pressure and high that is body mass index, etc. That constitutes the highest level of NCDs, and also high systolic blood pressure that lead to death among the women in India. Then also major findings, that is women in developing nations are particularly affected by epidemiological transition as they bear the brunt of reproductive health issues and are massively affected by NCDs later on in their life. Then also maternal health is the early predictor of this development of these NCDs. Then also common NCDs risk factors such as hypertension and also BP, then major difficulties during pregnancies, then that lead to lives of women and also their newborns, and increasing the likelihood that their children will develop an NCDs later in life. Then likewise, a mother's under or overnutrition during pregnancy can raise their kids' chance of getting heart disease or diabetes later in their life. Then in India, NCD burden in terms of DALY is much higher among women than men within states as well as between the gender. There are significant differences in health conditions in the country. Then it is observed that CVD, respiratory disease, and cancer are more reported in India, and women are at a higher risk of various NCDs. Then NCD load was also high in productive and working age group. Then NCDs are on the rise all across the country due to significant economic expansion, urbanization, along with the changes in lifestyle that have raised vulnerability to NCD risk factors. Then let us conclude. Access to better health and well-being is a basic right, and the Sustainable Development Framework provides a new incentive to recognize that everyone, not just the wealthy, has access to highest level of health and health care. The inclusion of gender equality and NCDs in the 2030 agenda reaffirms the role of NCD prevention and equity to achieve sustainable development goals. As a result, there is a pressing need to tackle the problem in states with the highest NCDs, with a special focus on women from poor socio-economic condition. Then gender responsive health policy intervention and strategies, as well as intersectoral collaboration to identify and promote measures beyond the health sector should be implemented to improve the health and well-being of women, as well as to achieve sustainable development. That is all about my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Kudumbashree, a part of self-help groups, has a great influence on poor women because they help them through microfinancing to face their financial problems. The same time, the activities of self-help groups to raise their self-esteem and self-confidence, the social and emotional upliftment of poor women came to the trace after the launching of self-help groups. Their participation in the activities of local governments has also increased. The education level and legal awareness of poor women also have increased with the help of Kudumbashree. Their performance in the public sphere improved. They are now able to come out of the nutshell. A self-help group is a small group of about 10 to 20 men, women from similar class and region and same economic conditions. They work together to support each other to overcome their economic grievances by providing small loans at a very low interest. The group allocates necessary fund usually by thrift savings of thrift savings of the members on a regular basis. Nowadays, these are promoted by government development banks and voluntary agencies. However, Kerala government has recognized the impact of self-help groups on improving the livelihoods of the rural poor. In fact, it is true that self-help group is the most powerful tool of our government to combat with the poverty, unemployment, and empowerment of women. It aims at the empowerment of women through microfinance and thereby develop their initiative skills and leadership abilities. This will raise their self-confidence and self-esteem. Thus, ultimately, women empowerment leads to economic self-reliance. When women became economically independent, they will be self-reliant, self-confident, and positive in attitude. Thus, empowered women can easily overcome the mental pressure of poverty and gender inequality which she faces in the society. The self-help groups in Kerala is a typical example which proves that self-help groups can empower women substantially. However, self-help groups have taken many activities to empower women in Kerala, such as first one, helping them to overcome the objection from the husband and other family members to join self-help groups. Second one, began to intervene more actively in the decision about household activities. Third, became literate through adult literacy program. Fourth, became confident to appear before public. Next one, vigilant to send their children to school. Next, had opinions about their own marriage. Next, took part in active politics as a candidate or active voter. In 1986, with the assistance of UNICEF, the central and state governments jointly launched the Unique Poverty Alleviation Program in Alappuzha town. It was a great success and it gave our government confidence to extend that program into rural areas also. Hello? Hello?
Jyoti, you can continue.
Thus, in 1999, Kudumbashree came into existence. It is the most important poverty eradication program of Kerala, which is launched by local self-government with the cooperation of NABARD. The participants are women, particularly poor women. That is, it is a women-oriented program aiming at the upliftment of women, both economically and socially. Moreover, these programs aim at the creation of opportunities, ensure their social security and empowerment. The mission of Kudumbashree is eradication of absolute poverty with the participation of women. The Kudumbashree is a three-tier agency. The grassroots base of Kudumbashree is a neighborhood groups. Participation of at least one woman from each family in the neighborhood families is ensured in each NHD groups. The members in the governing bodies also women. That is, all the activities in the neighborhood groups are controlled and carried out by women. They carried out credit and thrift programs, health awareness, women and child welfare activities, active participation in the Gram Sabha, etc. The involvement of women in these programs makes them empowered. The apex body of Kudumbashree network at Panchayat level is Community Development Society. By monitoring credit and thrift, this body also works to empower women by supporting them financially and socially. Kudumbashree has certain strategies to empower women by alleviating their poverty. Kudumbashree converts various government programs and resources to CDS level. Moreover, Kudumbashree develops to act as an informal bank to the poor women and thus their incomes can be improved through self-employment. Kudumbashree assures the participation of poor women to local governments. Kudumbashree tries to solve the basic problems of the poor like drinking water, shelter, sanitary latrines, etc. For this, it provides microfinance and other assistance to the poor. As economic freedom is the most important tool for women empowerment, microfinance can help them to great extent. Moreover, it encourages them to save and be thrifty. Due to the increased self-employment programs, even financial status improved, and thereby their safety and status and self-respect with the household has increased considerably. A study conducted by me, the Kudumbashree in the matter of women empowerment, it is found that Thiruvananthapuram, a Kudumbashree gives women training for coconut climbing. Moreover, they aiming from the group of coconut climbers called Green Army Activists. In Thiruvananthapuram, there is a tasty cafe which is entirely owned and operated by Kudumbashree members. They say they are now financially stable and so they have confidence to involve in any risky enterprises and they are preparing for such ventures. In Thrissur municipality, there is a Nakshatra ladies homestay in the participation of women. They provide better facilities for women workers and travelers. In Alappuzha, constructions of houses by Kudumbashree members is on the go. However, the election of 2019 is really a great occasion for the Kudumbashree members to express themselves. These poor women became a part of the election process, showing their capabilities. The credit of this empowerment goes to Kudumbashree. The study revealed that there is a great influence of Kudumbashree in the case of occupation. First one, occupation status of respondents. The occupational background influenced to a large extent the overall performance of women in the activities of Kudumbashree mission at the rural level. Therefore, an inquiry as to the occupational status of the respondent will be great significance to the present study. The above graph deals with the occupation status of the respondents. They are classified into 5 categories. They are the graph shows that out of total 100 respondents, 43% belong to the category of unemployed of the remaining, 18% belong to the category of agriculture, 19 earn their livelihood on their own, 8% belong to the private sector, and 22% belong to the daily wages category. The graph clearly reveals the fact that the grand majority to respondents belong to the unemployed category. From the direct interaction with the respondents, it was made known that they belong to the unemployed category due to the fact that they were housewives. Second one, the education and the social development. The education has a double-edged effect both in the formulation of social capital in the utilization of the same for the rural development. Therefore, an inquiry is to the educational skills like the ability to sign, to read and write, numerical skills, ability to maintain records, and involvement in the literacy mission acquired by the respondents through the active involvement and participation in Kudumbashree mission are all the more important. The above graph shows the fact that out of the total 100 respondents, 1% claim to that they have acquired those numerical skills indicated is the graph. The graph reveals the fact that only 2% of respondents are able to maintain records in the proper manner. At the same time, the graph indicated that 8% of the respondents acquired the ability to read and write, and 89% of the respondents are acquired to the ability to their signature. Next one, conclusion. All these facts prove that Kudumbashree has helped women to a large extent to become empowered. It is true that these poor women, most of them were illiterate, cannot reach the high position in the absence of Kudumbashree. Kudumbashree made them literate and financially self-sufficient, provided them legal awareness, taught them to be self-respect, made them efficient to carry out their dreams fruitfully. Kudumbashree dragged them to the local politics and thereby made them to become a part of our democratic process. Now they are eligible to speak a few words in the public places without any inferiority complex or being shy. Their social status has increased considerably. In a male-dominant family, their words came to be heard. They became a part of decision-making in family affairs, which was unknown to them earlier. All these achievements are the gift of Kudumbashree to them. We can come to the conclusion that the mission to Kudumbashree, that is, the empowerment of women has achieved a great result to a certain level of certain fields, but not completely in all areas. But we can be hopeful that within a few years, Kudumbashree shall attain its mission completely, which will make the lives of poor women.
3 papers were presented in this session, and the first one regarding family economics by Dr. Jijikumari. It was a nice presentation introducing us to a new concept of family economics, and she was trying to address the concerns of women and development by covering 3 concepts: sexual division of labor in families, household production function, and intra-household decision making. All these remain relevant for the empowerment of women. So we can, in the coming period, we can expect the family economics concept will get its relevance. And also in her paper, she had made a point that the technological improvement had made labor saving equipments which reduce the household work burden of women, and it helped them to get access to jobs and go out of the house for payment jobs. And also it remains a major limitation to conduct studies and research regarding the intra-household decision making, that the data regarding distribution of resources between household and wife and families are not available. I think it is a limitation. And I have a question to Dr. Jijikumari, and how what are the limitations that remain in regarding the conducting studies on these 3 concepts of intra-household decision making, household production function, and the sexual division of labor in families. I think it is not easy to get data regarding these matters. What is your view on this?
Yes, Riya, you are right. We cannot able to, it is very difficult to get a data relating to the sexual division of labor, because suppose if you are approaching families, they are not ready to reveal what is the division of labor in their family they are going on, or how the bargaining power between the husband and wife. Then most of the families are not ready. Some family, those very what we can say heterodox family, they may get details, or they may ready to give details regarding this. But orthodoxically, or in the case of mainstream economics, suppose if you are considering, the most of the families are not ready to reveal their these kinds of family matters to others. That is why, but even though I think nowadays, especially this COVID situation, our chief minister also recommended that men should be involved in the household activities. Men should help this wives in the family, because so many women in this during this time, so many women, ladies in the family, they face this shadow pandemic. There's so many suppressions and depressions are happened during the time of this pandemic to the ladies. So I think I think within a short span of time, we can expect this kind of family economics in the main coming as an important area of study in economics.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let us go to the next.
As a response to this, I think it is easy to get. These days, there are so many newer devices people are trying to use. For example, you have a time use data analysis, which is prevalent these days, especially when you want to look into the aspect of women and their engagement. You can use a time use method. Similarly, you can actually have in the family, you can have a sort of time use analysis without doing a direct question like the previous mode, that a questionnaire kind of thing. You can actually make a kind of time use, a day, a week, a month, etc. So you will get information that whether how and who is actually sharing the burden and what is the nature of burden, etc. So now the researchers are using this method. So it is getting its own currency these days. So our own researchers are actually nowadays trying to use this method. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir. I am accepting your valuable comments, because I actually, I told earlier, then I not at all made any preliminary study on this matter. Then definitely, okay, sir, thank you. Then time use, that day-to-day time, how much time we are spending for this purpose, and then monthly or weekly, we can get the data. Okay, thank you, sir, for your information.
I think your paper is very relevant in the current scenario, as we are in a pandemic situation, and the importance of health for the well-being of people, and that of the economic well-being of a country. We know for the past 2 years we are suffering from the pandemic, and this disease has caused a lot to the world, both economically and in other aspects. And when coming to your paper, non-communicable disease burden among women in India, evidence from global burden of disease study, about the disease burden caused, I want to know about the undiagnosed disease, and is that the women are, in the case of India and also in the developing countries or less developed countries, I think the undiagnosed diseases, the people that will be majority of that case will be of the female. I think. What is your finding about that?
Hello, Riya.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you are right. There are a lot of undiagnosed the diseases especially among the females, but due to the unavailability of that, it's not included in my study. Also, it's actually one of the problem. But in India, also especially in Kerala, there are a lot of undiagnosed diseases, especially due to that is the lack of accessibility and also availability of facilities, and also deprived sections, especially tribals and also some women. But due to the there are a lot of limitations.
I couldn't clearly hear your answer because of.
Okay, there are some network issues there. There is a lack of availability of data in the case of this undiagnosed disease. Hello.
Okay, Sanitha.
Then in my study, I have included that is all other type of major NCDs and also their burden and also risk factors. Is any other query?
No. Now participants can ask questions. Is there anyone to ask question?
I had a question for Dr. Jijikumari.
Okay, Adul. Dr. Jijikumari, ma'am.
Ma'am, I wanted to know whether you subscribe to Becker's explanation of sexual division of labor in terms of the comparative advantage theory, or do you rather think that the patriarchal traditions are the reason why such a tradition or such a division actually exists? In case of developing.
Jijikumari.
Okay, Adul, thank you for your query. Okay, that you are correct. That is, we are living in such a situation, such a tradition we have, that is patriarchal, or the man has more importance in society. In such a tradition, that is, gender role is also like that. From our childhood onwards, we are hearing or we are seeing the pictures like one man is sitting and lady is coming to bring tea to that person. Such kind of a picture is that is fixed in our mind, as well as the society is also creating such a gender roles to ladies as well as men. Then if there is no change in that social stigma or social setup or social mind, we cannot make a actual sexual division of labor in family, because family, almost all duties are, even though child caring as well as all other nursing activities are carrying out by the ladies, and all the domestic kitchen works are also, all the household activities are doing by most of the ladies in the households. Then because of this, we want to change the mindset of the society, or we want to change the gender role prescribed by society to ladies and men. Then only, okay, you told that this comparative cost theory we can apply. Okay, then I have no previous experience on that, because I told that I have no, this is not my research here actually. Okay, definitely we can use that comparative cost method in the case of finding out the sexual division of labor. Then thank you, Adul.
Good evening to one and all. I would like to thank each and everyone present here. First of all, I would like to thank Greeshma Babu for her welcome speech. Next, I would like to thank Riya Shibu for being the moderator of this section. I want to thank you for the efforts you made to carry out this session smoothly. Now, let me thank the key speakers of this session. Thank you, Dr. Jijikumari T, St. Pius College, Rajapuram, for your presentation on the topic Family Economics and Analysis with the emphasis on sexual division of labor, intra-household bargaining, and the household production function. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank Jyothilakshmi MA from Mahatma Gandhi University for presenting the paper on self-help groups and women empowerment. And lastly, Sanitha Sadanandan from Kannur University for the presentation on topic Non-Communicable Disease Burden Among Women in India, Evidence from Global Burden of Disease Study. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank Siddik R, Assistant Professor and Organizing Secretary of this 3 days international webinar on women and development. And last but not least, I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to all the listeners.